Irene, let's first look back on your UFC career. You're on a good streak, 2 wins in a row, and you started it off with 2 losses, of course, but it was one, I think, was a fight of the night, and then it was a split decision. They weren't huge losses, but they were losses. When you look back on it, like, how do you assess your career up to this point? Are you happy with how, things have happened for you in the UFC?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy. Those 2 losses were hard to digest. My dream debut was winning, obviously, but I was so nervous. I was looking at the lights, I was looking at the people, I was looking at buffer. I was looking at everything but my opponent. But it was great. I think we gave a really good fight. That was the fight of the night. I learned a lot in both fights by both losses. So it's good because I earned experience that I didn't have. It's because all my previously fights were so short. They ended like in 1 minute, 2 minutes, and I didn't have that experience of maybe three rounds of fights. So that's good. I'm happy with that, and I'm ready to go forward.
And then, speaking of which, you're also, like, your last fight was also a fight of the night, like battle war type thing, where you guys were both like really really hurt afterwards. So for us, it's great. We love watching those fights, but for you guys, it can be a little hard to be in there. Do you enjoy those, like, really dragged out battles? If it were up to you, would you just, like, go in and out? Like, do you like putting on that type of just
It's really exciting. I really loved it. When you have an opponent that gives everything in the cage, it's awesome because it makes you bring out the best of you, and it's exciting. When the final round finished, we both screamed and we both hug each other, and it was great. I really enjoyed, and what's awesome for me is to see people enjoy the fight, to see people stand up and scream and clap. It's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
We were just talking about it earlier, that looking at your record, like your 3rd fight, you were fighting in Brazil against Larissa Pacheco, who's actually fighting Kayla Harrison at PFL now. And then when you talk about fights like the one that you just had with Lucy, like, a lot of people say that it's about the mental strength, right? When it gets to a point where you're both just, like, giving it your all, it's not really just about the physical anymore. It's about just, like, being psychologically in there. Do you think that the fact that you've had such a tough road and that you were thrown to the sharks right away helped you become mentally stronger for these types of battles?
Yes, totally. I have, with Larissa was my 3rd fight ever. I didn't have amateur fights, and I got really so much punch in the face. I saw my face in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, what I'm doing here? Why do this? And that makes me grow and make me stronger. I lost my 3 important fights in my career, 2 title fights and my UFC debut. So that was hard, and makes me think that, okay, I didn't came this far to just came this far, so I need to get stronger. I need to get back to the gym, train harder, and go back and make it through. So I did, and my coach always is with me and say, no, you're gonna be better. You're gonna make this. You're gonna be stronger, and he helps me a lot psychologically to get through all that disadvantage maybe that I had in this fight with in my last fight with Lucy. I broke my bone in the first round. I had my hand bone, sorry, and lost my vision in the 3rd round. So I didn't see anything with my eyes, and I was like, my coach was, punch her, and I was, which one? It was hard, yeah, but I didn't knew that about myself as a fighter. I didn't knew that if I broke a bone, I was gonna be able to keep fighting, and so I'm really glad that I became stronger with that.
And how much, like you were saying, you didn't know, and now you know. So how much confidence does this give you coming into this one? Kind of like, well, it can't be much worse than that. Like, does it make you more confident?
Yeah, totally. Lucy it was a very hard opponent. I think one of the hardest that I had, and obviously, yeah, makes me confident that, okay, if I survive that, I can survive anyone. So yeah, I feel good. I'm not much, how do you say, way too confident about a fighter, because I respect all of my fighters. I know they are dangerous and strong, so anything can happen in MMA. I can get knocked out, I can get submitted, but yeah, I feel better now.
And you're fighting an aggressive, you're fighting Betty Correia, who's known for being aggressive,
Yeah.
but do you expect to like kind of have that type of fight with her? Like, what are you, in terms of just styles, how do you think you match up with her, and what are you expecting from this one?
Yeah, I know she's aggressive. She's verbally and physically aggressive. So I'm prepared for that, and I'm glad she's like that, because that's what's gonna make a good fight for the fans. But I know she's a good person. She's a good athlete, and she has a name in the sport. She has fought two of the most greatest athletes, female athletes in the division. So that's something that I respect of her, and to have the courage to get in the cage with Ronda, with Holly, it's like something that I know that makes her tough.
She's coming off a bit of a layoff. She hasn't fought since, like you mentioned, the Holly Holm fight, and she's had a few issues and had to have surgery and things like that. Do you take that into account? Do you think that might be a disadvantage for her? Are you factoring that in?
Yeah, maybe yes, maybe not. We don't know. Maybe she has trained her mind to not be damaged about that time off, but maybe yes, there's a ring rust. Maybe she has the nerves about fighting in her country, in her city, with her people. With all that time off, 2 years, it's a lot of time off. But I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna be ready if she's mentally or not. Yeah.
And speaking of you, like we were saying, you had this rough start, but then now you had 2 wins in a row. I think a lot of it is just growth and getting more comfortable with the octagon. Like you said, in the first one, you were kind of like, what is happening? But in terms of just your training and things that you did, have you changed anything, or is there anything specific that you can point to that really helped you turn things around?
Just relax and enjoy the process. Before I was so nervous, so tense. I'm still nervous, but I can control it. I can canalize my nerves to a positive way. So just that, just enjoy it and think about how fun it is, how good it is before you win a fight, how everything is beautiful before a fight, and how nice it is to accomplish something that you work so hard for.
I think a lot of fighters say that they think that the nerves are never going to be completely gone.
Never.
How is it for you? Like, is it fight week right before the fight? When do you start getting nervous, and how do you manage that?
Since the moment that they offer me a fight, I'm nervous. It's really hard. It's like a roller coaster. You're on top of the nerves, and you don't want to fight. You just want to be a housewife, and then you're, oh no, yeah, I can with all the division. Yeah, I'm gonna be a champion. And then I don't want. And then you cry, and then you're happy, and it's a roller coaster of emotions. And how you say, nerves is never going to disappear, are never going to disappear, but the key is to canalize that and to control them, and that, okay, nerves are going to help me to survive there, and are going to help me to stay alert, and are going to help me to see the positive way of nerves.
And speaking of the fight that you have, I mean, you talked about Betty. She did fight Ronda for the belt. She fought Holly, and she lost. But, she's still a pretty, known name in the division. Yeah. And you're coming off 2 wins. Bantamweight is not that deep. Do you feel like a win over her puts you at least in the title conversation? Like, do you see this as a contender fight? How do you see your future with a win?
Yes, I think so. It's a great opportunity for me to climb to the top 5, also for Beth. And I think that maybe if whoever wins gets an opportunity to 1-2 more fights, maybe, and then get an opportunity for the title. And it's a thing that is not so far to see a title fight. So it's a nerve thing, but it's great. It's exciting. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Do I put it here? Get it.
Just a little higher.
A little higher.
Yeah, just a little bit higher. Sorry.
It's okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
Double check.
Yep.
Let me hear you a little bit.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay, you're good.
I think we were just talking about, 1 or 2 fights away. And looking at the division now, I think obviously Amanda went up, but she said she's coming, but she's actually has a fight with Holly scheduled. So there's that. And then you have Kathleen Vieira, like kind of on the outskirts of the title situation. How do you see the division? Like, how do you see the state of the division? How do you see Amanda as a champion? Like, do you like how women's bantamweight looks right now?
Yeah, I think it's a interesting division. There are new signed bantamweight, so it's gonna be more active division now. Amanda is a great champion, and I think she's doing great. The fight with Holly is gonna be very interesting. You know how you say, like some fighters, some top 5 fighters in my division are hurt, or some Sarah McMahon got pregnant, and so that moved a little the division, and it's a little good for me in a way, because I can get into the train, no? and I can. It's a bigger. It opens opportunity for me to climb quicker. But I think when they come back, it's gonna be very, very interesting.
You did talk about seeing that the title fight might not be that far into the future. I know some fighters is kind of like they don't want to set those types of plans, but others like to have that structure. Do you have that kind of in your head, like I would like to be champion by 2020? Like, do you make those plans for yourself?
Yeah, of course. I don't hurry. I don't like to hurry things, but it's always on my mind. My goal, my final goal is get the title and defend the title as many times as I can. Actually, I have a photo in my room with a UFC belt in my waist, so I have to keep that in mind to wake up every morning. Okay, I am wake up because of this. You know, I'm going to train tired because of this. So yeah, I'm thinking about that every day.
And looking at the fight on Saturday, you talked a little bit about Betty's style. How do you, when you visualize it, how do you see that one playing out, and how do you see it ending?
Well, I think every fighter wants to finish a fight. You know, I love to finish fights. I love that it could be a knockout or submission or anything. You know, you don't get into the fight saying, "Oh, tonight I'm gonna leave the decision to the judges." You know, I definitely want to finish the fight. I would love to, if it could be a knockout, but let's see how it goes.